Neptune, what's up, Seymour?
Hey, what's up, Mike?
What's happening?
I don't agree with your opinion that the Lions shouldn't have known about Patricia. I mean,
you think they should have known? You think?
Yeah, I mean,
really?
You can't base it off just the fact that he's at the Patriots for 12 years. I mean, it's a different ownership. If I was,
why would you suspect when you go back, you do a normal vetting? They did what was a routine vetting. They hired a regular service. Nothing came up on that. He's got 12 years in the league as a prominent defensive assistant on the most prominent team in the league. He's been interviewed for head coaching positions by other teams. None of this shows up on anything they find on any of those interviews that they went over. Nothing from the Patriots, nothing from any other team. He was interviewed by multiple teams for a head coaching job, and they are wrong because they didn't find something that was over 20 years old?
Well, I don't know how they can't find an arrest on the guy, but my point is that
they said it did. It's over 20 years old. It didn't come up.
Well, that's shocking to me, and especially in 2018 with everything going on in the NFL. You got to be so careful. I just think they should have checked off, everything they could have.
Well, they threw the case out. He was not convicted of a crime. It's over 20 years ago. He'd been in the league for 12 years without incident. Not one incident in 12 years in the league. And why would there be any, how deep you got to go? I mean, it wasn't like the guy wasn't, if a guy wasn't in the league, I'd agree with you. The guy's been in the league for 12 years, and there hasn't been any incident of anything. They have a complete resume on him for all those years. Not one incident anywhere, not one mention of anything. And then this comes up in his background. I mean, I don't blame the team for not finding it. I guarantee you the Pats didn't know about it.
Yeah, it's just surprising that, it's an arrest, and it sounds pretty, serious. And it
was an arrest, but they threw the case out.
That's true, but, I mean, there should have been rumors thrown around the NFL that this had happened to the guy. I mean, I know it's 20 years ago.
Happened when he was in college, though. I mean, it happened 22 years ago. It's not like it was yesterday. I mean, I don't know. You're telling me everything that he did in college. Now, listen, this is a serious offense, but he was not convicted. They threw the case out. So I don't know if there should have been something in his background or not based on the fact that the case was thrown out. I don't know how they actually put those in somebody's record or not, where it goes back to. But they admitted that they thought they had done a pretty thorough vetting on the guy, and they were not aware of the incident, which they said they went through everything that the league had on him, everything everybody had on him, and it never came up. So I don't blame them. If he hadn't been in the league, I think they have to do a lot of work on the guy because you got to find out where he's been, what he's done. This guy had been in the league for a long time. You would figure that the other teams would know about something like this, and clearly nobody did. And the Pats gave him a glowing recommendation. Now, that doesn't make him innocent in any way. I'm not saying he is innocent. I'm not saying he's guilty. I have no idea what he is. But he was not convicted of a crime. They threw the case out. It should be in his record 22 years later. I don't know. I don't know what the law is on that, to be honest with you. He was not convicted of anything. There was no conviction. Kevin in Manalapan. What's up, Kevin?
Hey, Mike. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah.
Boston played out of their mind yesterday. I wanted to get your take.
They did everything right, and they caught him at the right time. They caught him and surprised them. So I think, from their standpoint, I actually thought they'd win game one because I thought if they didn't win game one, it was not even going to be a series.
Right. Do you think everyone's overreacting? Oh, LeBron's done, 15 points, all this. Do you really think? Do you give Cleveland a legit shot at winning the series?
Listen, I thought the series.
Even if they lose game two.
Yes. I think they can still win the series if they lose game two. Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely can. It's going to be very hard for Boston to win games in Cleveland. Absolutely think
he's
that.
He's got nobody to play with. You got to admit. Kevin Love.
This is the same thing we saw before. Listen, everybody overreacted. Everybody had them losing to Toronto. Everybody had them losing to Toronto. I never even thought it would be a good series against Toronto. This series, I said on Friday, I thought this series was a toss-up. So I'm not surprised by Game 1. I'm really not. I thought Boston would win Game 1 because otherwise I didn't think it would be a real good series if Cleveland won Game 1.
They blew him out of the building.
That doesn't bother me one way or the other. They're going to make adjustments off Game 1. LeBron is now. What is anybody saying about LeBron? The guy is averaging 34 and change on 55% shooting in the playoffs. He had one game where he took the fourth quarter off and he only scored 15 points. You think he's done?
I don't think he's done.
You have a better chance he scores 40. You have a better chance he scores 40 in Game 2 than he doesn't. He's going to come back with a vengeance. He'll probably top his scoring for Game 2 in the first quarter. It'll be probably one of those games.
I just think Boston has so many more bodies to throw at him than Toronto did. That's what I think is a problem. It's a nightmare matchup. I mean, they could put Tatum, they could put
right, but
Morris,
they're going to have. But remember, yesterday Cleveland missed every three they took. They shot 13% yesterday. They did some good things on him. They did some very good things defensively. Boston is going to have some games where they're going to look very bad offensively in this series, just like Cleveland did in Game 1. I think this will be a very long series. I think there's plenty of twists and turns left. You're doing what everybody does, and that is they overreact to the first game of a series. Everybody always does. It's only one game, and as LeBron said, he has no concerns. I totally agree with that. I think this will be a very long series. I thought it would from the beginning. And I think Boston has a good chance to win the series. I said from the beginning because I thought that they had some ability to play defense, which Toronto didn't have. They had some answers defensively. They had none. Toronto, absolutely none. Jonathan in New Jersey. What's up, Jonathan?
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
What's happening?
As far as the Patricia thing goes, the reason none of the teams found anything about him, about this incident, was because when they vetted him, the companies they use or whatever, they only looked for convictions.
Well, that's very possible. I don't know. Again, I don't know what the law is. I don't know if arrest should show up. I don't know how that works, to be honest with you.
Well, it's a different search. You do a legal nexus search.
Well, the guy's been in the league
website
for
that I read it on, they found it quite easily. But all the teams only looked for convictions. That's why nothing came up.
You know, I don't know about finding it real easy. It was 22 years ago. I don't know how easy somebody found it, to be honest with you. Somebody might have been tipped off. Who knows what went on? But, the NFL team said they did not know about it. It was 22 years ago. He was not convicted of a crime. So I don't know how long that's supposed to follow you. The guy's been in the league for a long time. So I
agree. It's very odd. It's very odd that it's coming up now.
It's not. Listen, if a guy wasn't in the league, they would be shame on Detroit. The guy's been in the league. He's been a fixture in the league for a very long time with a prominent franchise. He's been a prominent assistant. You've seen him a million times on TV. Everyone knows the guy. I can't blame the Lions on this. A lot of people like to blame the Lions for everything. I can't blame them on this one. I really can't. Now, where this goes from here, I don't know. I saw the NFL said they were investigating. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? They're going to try and find the young lady involved? Or the lady who would now be, what would she be, late 30s or whatever she'd be now? 96, 22. So she'd be, 40-something years old. I mean, Patricia says he's innocent. That doesn't mean he's innocent. It also doesn't mean he's guilty. That's why they have trials. Jason in Brooklyn. What's up, Jason?
Good afternoon, Mike. How are you?
Good. What's up?
I'm good. I just wanted to comment on the in-live betting. Basically, like you were saying before, football, basketball is mostly, because of the money lines. But, for example, in baseball, like every inning, as it goes on, like before the inning, you can actually bet whether the team is going to score. If they get a lead-off double, then you could lay 250 to 1.
Gotcha. I think it's a little much myself. I think that's overdoing it. I think the appetite for that would be rather small.
I agree with you because what happens is if you end up putting it in and then you lose, so then the next guy gets a third with 1 out, so you're going to hedge on your bet and you're going to...
Right. I just think that I think there's an overkill for everything. I think the idea of betting every situation that comes down the pike in the entire game, I mean, you could wind up, I don't think sports betting is designed for you to make 70 bets in one game. I mean, I just think that's not the norm. Now, listen, if some people, if they have, plenty of money, then they can do whatever they want. But, I mean, to me, that's not the average player is looking to get involved in such things. But Listen, the technology's there for all that. Absolutely. Mike and Merrick, what's up, Mike?
Hey, Mike. Welcome back.
Thank you. What's happening?
Just wanted to address the Patricia thing. I'm a former prosecutor. I'm a defense attorney now, and the only I can really tell you legally wise is that the case. There's two aspects to this. The case was dismissed, correct? Yeah. But the case, when something happens, when they don't present the case to a grand jury and the case gets dismissed, it's also sealed. So I don't know how the Patriots or the Lions, how would they get information on a sealed arrest? And now, technically,
who said they did?
What's that?
I mean, who said they did get information? They obviously didn't.
But we're talking about due diligence.
Oh, where
right?
would they get? Oh, where would they get a sealed arrest? Okay, so you're saying the only way that they would be able to do it is he actually told people about the situation.
Or in the age of the internet, maybe there was a clip or something like that.
Or they were tipped by somebody. It's very possible somebody could have gone. Somebody could have gone to do a story on him. On Deep Background, and was told, hey, there was an incident a long time ago when he was a kid, blah, blah, blah. It's possible.
But, Mike, the issue here becomes, for Patricia, because the indictment or the allegation was dismissed and sealed, okay? Mr. Patricia, no matter what you may feel the allegation is, he is, you're saying, well, he's guilty. He is innocent.
Well, don't you think, but didn't you think that the DA gave a pretty, pretty cryptic, his answer was, when they asked him about it, he said, I don't remember the case, but I didn't take losing cases to the grand jury.
Right.
So, I mean, that's pretty much indicting him.
Well, in many ways, I don't want to take a losing case to the grand jury. He's entitled to that presumption of innocence. Whether it be
agreed. So no, listen. Your point, Mike, is well taken. As a defense attorney, there's no way now to convict Patricia in anything but the court of public opinion. There's no way to convict him now. That this case is over. No one's even found the woman in question. There's no way to convict him. But I mean, so nothing's going to happen to him. But this is a tough way for him to start now. Because there's plenty of people who are going to think of him as now being someone who sexually assaulted someone, even though he says, I didn't do it. And I don't know if he did it or didn't do it. I have no idea. Back after this.